afternoon, everyone. It is March 25th. It is a Monday. So we are going to go through what sold on eBay this week. The first item we have is this Champion Boys athletic shorts. These, I believe I got at a garage sale on like a quarter table. And, you know, I look for the tags. When I see the tags, I grab them for, come on, a quarter for brand new shorts. So went ahead and picked these up for a quarter at a garage sale, and they sold finally for $9.99. I've had it since last summer, so I'm kind of glad to see it finally go. Next item that sold are these golf balls. There's 3 golf balls: St. Anthony, St. Jude, and St. Patrick Golf with the Saints. This was brand new in the package. I got this at my Amazon return bin store and paid $1 and sold it for $9.99. I had found this item in the Goodwill bins. It was a Beats zip bag or case. It was completely clean, and I was a little disappointed to see that there were no Beats in there. But even just the case, it shows here best offer accepted. I believe I did like $8.99. No one had really had any interest in it, so when somebody finally approached me with an offer, I counter-offered at $8.99, and so this sold. This is an Xbox One video game that I got in the Goodwill bins. It's very hard to find video games in the bins. It's pretty rare because that's what a lot of people are looking for. So sometimes if you do find something in the bins and you're like, oh, and you open it up and there's like no disc in there. Super normal. However, this one, even though it's not a stellar title, it's a Pac-Man Championship Edition game for the Xbox One. It was in pristine condition, as you can see from the back of the CD. No manual or anything. So this sold. I purchased it maybe for like 30-40 cents, since it's $1.67 a pound at my Goodwill, and sold it for $9.99. This cute little picture frame I found in the Goodwill bins. It's a Flexo kitty, and you cut out a little picture of your kitty cat. It's like posable too. And I actually had this for a lot more because it is a vintage item. And I had been knocking down the price, and someone totally lowballed me like weeks ago. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready to let it go for that cheap. You know, it's the cheapest one listed right now. It's brand new. And so then I kept marking down the price. And finally they're like, now will you sell it to me at this? So they were actually watching it for quite a while. So this one sold for $14.99. This is an Oster Professional detachable clipper blade. And this was actually new in the package at the Amazon bin store. I gave it a good look over. It didn't look used at all, so I listed it as new in box. And it sold for $22.49 after I purchased it for $1. Not sure how familiar you guys are with Umizoomi, but this show came out when my daughter was little. She is now 16. It's a super cute show about shapes and math and geometry. And it is, I don't know if it's still running. I know you can watch some episodes, but it's an old Nick Jr. show. And this is Millie and Geo, sorry. There's Bot too, which is the other main character. And these were little plushies that I found in the Goodwill bins. They were super clean, probably cost me 30 cents or so. And I turned around and sold the pair for $9.99. With these Leapfrog toys, their Turbo Twist collection, typically they sell really well for me. For some reason, this one just sat. I don't know what the deal is. It did have like 2 imperfection spots on it, as you can see there, and I did mark that in the auction. Tested and worked, didn't have a card, but it still has a game installed on it. And it sat and sat, finally got down to $9.99 and sold. It was a little on the heavier side, so I probably paid about $1 for it at the Goodwill bins, but I think it was still under a pound when I shipped it. The next item that sold are these Scooby-Doo pajama pants. This kind of like a vintage looking design, and I'm kind of shocked it sat as long as it did. It was in great shape. I don't know, my storage unit's a little harder to take pictures of bigger items. Maybe it was just the pictures were bad. I don't know. But I got this on half price day at my local thrift store. I think I paid about $1 for it, and it sold for $9.99 after sitting for quite some time. The next item that sold on eBay this week is a set of 2 Stephen King movies. The first one is thinner. The next one is Pet Cemetery. They were in excellent, excellent shape, as you can see from the back of the discs. These I actually got in the Goodwill bins. On their own, they sold for about $5, $6, which most of you know I don't really like to sell anything under 10 because with shipping and fees, it's kind of just negligible when it comes to profit. But since they were both Stephen King movies and popular titles, I went ahead and listed them together, and they sold pretty quickly for $9.99. Here is another Rainbow Friends plush. As you might have seen from my previous videos, I do pick these up pretty regularly on Dollar Day at my local Amazon bin return store. I just recently learned about what it was. It's like this video game on Roblox. My daughter actually showed it to me. I'm like, okay, you know, these kids these days. Anywho, so each of the monsters per se are a different color, and this is purple. I don't know how big he was, so I did put 8 inches by 9 inches bag because he was sealed in this bag, and I didn't want to take him out, and then I wouldn't really be able to list him as new in bag. So I paid $1 for him, and he sold for $9.99. Another item that sold this week is a lot of 3 Tommy Hilfiger ties. I believe these were from, I think I mentioned in a few videos ago, my local St. Vincent de Paul thrift store had their ties 5 for $1. So I sat down and went through all of them and looked up name brands. So this probably cost me, what, 60 cents? And I ended up selling him at $9.99. This plushie is actually from another show from when my daughter was little. That is gone. And anything Yo Gabba Gabba, for the most part, are strong sellers. There's some stuff kind of coming back with them, but they've been off the air for a while. It's just a very retro, weird, but cool show. It's one of those, like, unless you've seen it, you really don't know how to explain it. But it's a cute little show, and this is one of the monsters named Broby. Found him in the Goodwill bins. He had kind of some smudges on his eyes, and his tag was a little bit tattered and worn out, but otherwise great shape. And I sold him rather quickly at $9.99. These are some food saver bags. I got several of these at my local Walmart, actually. They had a cart up at the front. It was clearance items, and they had these boxes of food saver rolls for $1 a box. I have an aunt that uses food saver bags, and she says they're so expensive, so she's always looking for them at garage sales, thrift stores. And so when I spotted these, I knew that they were worth some money, paid $4 for the 4 boxes, and sold them for $29.99. My mom and I have been buying these jewelry bags from our local thrift store. They sell them for $20 a bag, and they're 5 pounds of wearable jewelry. We have had the most fun buying bags from this thrift store and parting them out and carting them really nice and selling them at garage sales and flea markets. But I did get thinking, I'm like, I found it very therapeutic to go through and pick through the jewelry and tag it. Like, I can do it while I'm watching a show. And I got thinking, no one really sells like resell jewelry online, like tagged and ready to go. So I'm kind of trying to feel out the market of maybe doing the tagging and the presentation part of it and selling the jewelry as bundles to try and compensate for my time. So this was one, it took me 40 minutes to go through and tag it all. And it looks like, well, I ran it as an auction because I was just curious what people thought they were worth. And this lot went for $28. So after fees and shipping, I probably broke even. And here is the other lot that I had. This one actually had more pieces. I think it was about 109 pieces of jewelry because of the earrings. But it was a 5 pound bag initially, carted it all. This one took me a little longer. I want to say like 70 minutes or so. Put it up for an auction at $19.99. It sold for $19.99. I don't know if maybe I need to price these higher or if this is just a niche or something that's not a thing. I'm just trying to think of something that no one else is doing and see if I can build a niche that way with this jewelry, since I have a source at an incredible price for wearable, nice jewelry, and take advantage of it while we have it. This was another item I had put up on auction. I had a few auctions ending this weekend, actually, of bigger items, lots, things that I knew would sell for sure, just to start moving some inventory because it's about to be garage sale season here, and I think my storage unit and my death pile is going to get big really, really quick. So I'm trying to move some stuff I've had for a while. Even though it's stuff I know will sell, I'm just like, let's run it at a penny auction and see what happens. And this is over 40 little My Little Ponies. I actually sold several already on Whatnot. I did a few Whatnot auctions of toys and just kind of laid them out and people picked out what they wanted. And so I sold several that way, and this is what was left. I believe I started this at a penny and it sold for $41. I've had this little guy for about 2 months. He had some watchers on it, but no one was really biting. I ended up knocking down the price on Friday to $22.49. I always do it in $2.50 increments. So before it was $24.99, had a few watchers. I'm like, someone's going to bite soon. Dropped it down to $22.49 and someone quickly picked him up. I found him. He was super clean, super cute. He was in the Goodwill bin, so he maybe cost me 30-40 cents. Here are some more My Little Ponies that I had. Some of them were in rougher shape than others. I had some of these listed by themselves, and they were kind of at the point where they weren't selling at the $9.99 price point. Here's one that kind of had some weirdness going on. It's a little bit dirtier. I know people take these and they paint them and they make new things, and I bet you the person that bought these, that's probably what they're doing. Because they are all a little bit tougher and didn't really sell at the $9.99 price point that I had. So I lotted them all together. There were 11 My Little Ponies. I believe I started it for a penny auction and it sold for $32. The next item that sold on eBay this week, I think I only had it up for a day. Whenever I find these, I always grab them. They always sell, especially if they're all in the box and sealed. I found these in the Goodwill bins, probably paid about $1 or so for them, and they sold the next day for $14.99. This here is some Trader Joe's Brazil Nut Body Butter. Brand new in the package, sealed. This was actually found in the Goodwill bins. Our Goodwill bins, if there's chemical items like, say, Windex or shampoo or lotions, all of those sell for 25 cents each and not by the pound. So this was 25 cents. Turned around and sold it, I think, 3 days after I listed it, maybe, for $16.99. I had higher hopes for this guy. He's a little Build-A-Bear. He is actually an orange dinosaur. I think he's a T-Rex. That's what I put him down as. And he had a cool little fossil rock shirt on him. I had him, I think, up to like $40-ish actually. I was looking at comps and I was like, oh, geez, you know, everyone wants this thing. Apparently not when I was selling it. He was in great shape. Nothing wrong with him. He sat and sat. I lowered the price, and he finally sold at $9.99. So I learned my lesson on the other jewelry. I had gotten some jewelry that I sold on a Whatnot auction. As I was selling it, I was tagging it and carding it. And these were 48 pairs of earrings that I did during the show. And I don't know how much it weighed. I have it packaged, but I haven't done labels yet today. But it's super light compared to the other 5-pound lots that I did. I was smart. I started this at a penny, but I did put shipping of $14.99 and it sold for $7.50. So this was actually a decent deal. I probably got like over $20 for it. And it was just a portion of one of the 5-pound bags that I had gotten. So I did okay on these. I really did. Here's a Pac-Man plush, Pac-Man Battle Royale that I got in the Goodwill bins. It's a Toy Factory plush, which they always seem to do really well, and he still had the tags. So I got this guy, maybe paid 20 cents for him, and turned around and sold him for $9.99. Really excited to sell this. This was probably not the nicest one that I received, but I did, yeah, see, you can see in that picture the pilling on the upper shoulders, and I did mark that in the auction. This is one of several MMA rash guard shirts that I got at a thrift store for half off, and I want to say they were like $7 and they were half off that day, so they were like $3.50, and I got like 7 or 8 different shirts. They're all men's extra large, really nice quality, nice brands, and this is the first one to sell. I think I'm finally getting down to the price point for these, and this one sold for $19.99. This was a baseball that I found in the bins. It's a pink Rawlings baseball, softball, whatever you want to call it. I don't I'm bad with sports, guys. Anywho, it's got a Texas Rangers logo on it, hot pink, super cute. And I sold this one for $19.99. I probably paid about 40-50 cents for it at the Goodwill bins. Here is an auction that I truly failed at. These are a mix of Duplos and Mega Blocks. There's 78 pieces. They're all unique pieces, not just your standard pieces. And there's like Winnie the Pooh. There's some Ni Hao Kai Lan pieces from when my daughter was little, and Dora and Go Diego Go. So I put all of these unique special pieces up for an auction. I started at $9.99 with free shipping, and it sold for $9.99. These are in a bigger box, so they're definitely going to cost more than $10 to ship. So let's just not talk about this one. So let's see. Okay, so this is a lot of Barbie clothes. These typically sell for $1 an item when I lot them up. So this should have sold for about $80. But I threw it up on an auction and let her ride, and it ended at $27. So someone got a really good deal. I could have saved these and done these on a Whatnot auction. I've been very successful with Barbie doll clothes and Build-A-Bear clothes on Whatnot. But, sometimes you take a hit when you're trying to get the cash flow going. Speaking of Build-A-Bear clothes, here is a Build-A-Bear Workshop Trolls outfit. It's adorable. It's got the pants, the matching shirt, and check out these little slippers. They got Poppy on them. So I put this whole set together, and it sold for $34.99, which is pretty impressive considering these were from the Goodwill bins, so they probably cost maybe a quarter. Last but not least is this jewelry, which actually has quite the story behind it. There are 14 sterling silver rings in this lot. I measured each of them and posted a picture of them individually. The story behind these is I actually ended up hitting a garage sale last summer, right at the beginning of summer. And I think it was the family selling everything like an estate sale, but they were doing it as a garage sale because it was the community neighborhood garage sale for their neighborhood that weekend. These people, either they don't garage sale or they just wanted to get rid of stuff. They were selling stuff so cheap, you guys. We were like filling up the truck. And they had these rings, and they had two big trays. You can kind of see the box there. They had two big trays full of these really pretty rings, and they had them a quarter a piece. And I sell just basic silver tone, like the little cheap costume jewelry rings at my garage sale for like 75 cents, and they go for hotcakes. And I'm like, this lady's got these really nice rings for 25 cents. So I was kind of talking to my mom, like, that's really cheap. I wonder if she would take like an offer on all of them. So I went up and I said, how much would you take if I bought both these trays of rings? And she's like, $5 a tray, so $10. And I was like, wow, okay, because I'm sitting there thinking I could sell these at my garage sale for like $4 a piece. Get them home. My family was over. They were all playing the dice game or card game or whatever in my kitchen. Because they were babysitting my twins, because my older daughter and I were going to a Broadway show that night. And apparently they got looking at the rings, and I get home and they're like, did you know that most of these are marked 925 sterling silver? I was like, what? I thought they were just cheap little costume jewelry. Apparently the family did too, because they were selling them for 25 cents a piece. Oh my gosh. So I went to some local jewelry stores. Everyone wanted to totally lowball me on them. And I'm like, I know I got them all for $10. If someone offered $100, I still made a good deal. But I ended up coming up here on a year of having these rings. I ended up selling a bunch at my garage sales. I had them like $20. People were buying them. And then I had them down to 15. People were buying them. And they slowly got sorted through. Then when I started on Whatnot this year, I was like, man, the jewelry category is wild. What if I did some of this sterling silver jewelry on some Whatnot auctions? And I've done several auctions and sold like $5 a piece. Definitely building up my Whatnot following. And these were the last 14 rings that I just could not sell for the life of me. One of them does have a missing stone, but the rest are fine. Some of them needed a little bit of cleaning and TLC, and I did mark that. I don't think any of these are real diamonds. I'd be shocked if so. Somebody got an epic deal. But over the course of these 2 trays of rings, I've made at least $1,000. Like, it's insane. I wish I would have tracked it better. So it was kind of sad to see these go. I put them up for a penny on an auction. They ended this weekend at $90 with free shipping. And of course, they don't weigh much. So I don't expect the shipping to cost a heck of a lot of money. Probably like $5-6. Okay, so that is all that I have for this week. I did put over 100 items on auction last night to end on Sunday. Just again, trying to clear out some stuff. Definitely a lot of plush that I put up because some of that is getting pulled and put on the flea market in 2 weeks. And just things that have been laying around, just like run it for an auction. Some of the items have watchers on them. So I'm hoping they see that I threw them up on an auction and they'll go ahead and purchase. And I think sometimes you just get watchers that are just watching it, but no one's actively buying it. So by putting it up for, hey, 1 week, here's your opportunity, I'm thinking that that might help some of this stuff sell and move. So I will see you guys next Monday.